Well, welcome back. I've been going through more parts. Loved all the comments. You got some great ideas out there, except the Hills Hoist clothesline handle for kickstart. I don't dig that one. We're not gonna go there. A lot of guys want to see me build a petrol tank. I can build a petrol tank. I've done it before a lot, so we'll talk about that today. But today I'm going to try and get mocked up onto two wheels, get a bit of a stance happening, work out what we're going to do. A lot of guys have offered their help, so I'll get it to like basically a rolling chassis today, and you can throw some ideas at me there. Basically, I'm just trying to use period correct parts for this bike, and I'm not going to butcher any period correct parts, believe me. Anything I change will be very slightly. It's all going to be restorable. I don't like chopping up parts that are really old, so the frame everyone chose was a bow leg. It's one of my favourite too. It's had a little bit of custom work done to it. It's had a little bit of rake in it. Had some bodgy mounts here and there. I'm going to take all them off, but I'm going to not put anything new on unless I really need to. But it's a great frame to start with. So I'm just going to throw it together, and we'll get a bit of a stance on it and see where we go from there. I'll get into it. Well, we threw the front end on, took a little bit of persuasion. These triple clamps are actually off a soft tail. So soft tails around the 80s were bought in, and the frame is a 40s frame. So figure that out. We've got the same stud pattern for an engine that goes for many years, same triple clamps frame that goes for many years. So it's amazing that Harley Davidson kept all these parts so interchangeable over the years. But it's good if you're a collector, because look, I'm putting a set of 80 trees on a 40s front end in a 40s frame. Amazing, I think. It's just, that's why you should never throw anything out. We'll just nip that up for the time being, so it doesn't go anywhere, because we may change our mind at any moment. This is about a 4-inch over wide glide. The stock front ends on the early pans are very short. Very short, they're only about here, so this is probably between maybe 2 and 4 overs. So back wheel wise, I have this wheel there, still got tread on the tyre, got to use that. We're using the mechanical brake, so this has just a lever here. This is your brake adjustment. This rod connects to this rod. As that rod pulls forward, pulls the brake on. Very simple. I'm going to probably make a set of Frisco pegs for this, where they mount back here, and then they around here they make a brake lever straight off this, and it'll run up here under the foot peg here. Really like that. We might not use this front brake setup. This is actually for hydraulic brakes. The mechanical brakes are a bit prehistoric for this, so I might look at that. This is the old toolbox mount that used to fit on the frame, like here. Had a toolbox mounted on it. This one's been cut off at some stage, but I've got another one there if I ever want to put it back to stock. We're going to get rid of that dash, and these mounts aren't factory. You can see they've been cut off here, so I'm going to take them right off. I've got another set of mounts I can put on there, so we might take that off now and clean up the top of the frame. Let's stand back and have a look at it. Have a bit of a look at it. It's got a nice stance already, I think. That little bit of rake makes it look good. Forks are definitely long enough. It's going to be off the ground high enough. Okay, let's get some cutting tools. This one, I think we're going to have to get the torch in there and trim it, because we can't get a grinder in there easily, so we'll have to cut that off with a torch later. I might have to cut it down to get the engine in. We'll have a look later. I think what we might do is we'll throw a rear fender on there and get a bit of visual, see where we're going, see what you think. Now this is a standard panhead rear fender. So it mounted to the mud guard there and to the frame. A bit hard to see at the moment. And this hinge is on the back. So if you had a flat tyre, you undid those, hinge lifted up, pull the axle out, wheel the wheel out. Then, when the bobber craze happened, they simply drilled out these two rivets that hold the hinge, cut these off, and you had a pretty stylish rear fender. Thus the guard was bobbed, they called them bobbers. I'm just going to space this up so it gives us a bit of a visual. I want this shape to stay with the rim, which will be easier said than done. We're going to have to use some chocks. I'm going to chock that up. Here's a good tip when you mount in your backyard, basically on a rigid. I used to use an old chain, wrap that around the tyre, and you sit your mudguard fender on that, and they gave you the same clearance all the way around. But lately they don't use chains anymore, so the last rigid I built, I used a belt. So let's throw a bit of that technology together. We've got a chain and a belt, and that'll give us even more clearance. This also works on your front fender too. If you want your fender to sit nice and close to your tyre, that's the way to do it. The chain's a good spacer because your tyre does grow a bit at high speed. Not that we ever do any speeding on our motorcycles. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying this episode. We don't make any money out of this show at all. It's all privately funded, coming in our pockets. The only way we can fund it is by selling merch. If you shoot over to my website, I've got a lot of stuff for sale. I've got t-shirts, I've got a few new designs coming out shortly. There's the original paintings from Live to Ride. Now all these have been published. Hey, and if you want me to do a personal piece of artwork for you or a friend, get in touch, drop me a line in the messages. It'll be a great Christmas present for someone. Thanks for your support. Back to the episode. And there you have the mudguard. So that's the stock fender. I think I'm going to make a fender. I'll show you how I go the process of making mudguard. I don't think I'll put heavy sides on it like that. We'll probably just bring it down to about here and shorten it. But I'll make it of a pretty heavy gauge steel. I'll show you how I do that. Apart from that, I think we really need to looking at what gas tank we've got to run. I want to keep the thing looking light. Yeah, I don't want it looking heavy. That's the thing with the big skirted fender, you know, it makes the bike look a little heavier. Now, believe it or not, when I was working for Live to Ride, I needed some extra steel to make this tank. This tank is made out of steel shelving from Live to Ride magazine. So there's a bit of history for you. Then I was airbrushing at Harley Davidson's 100th year in Sydney, and everyone was standing in line to get Willie G's signature. Willie G is one of the founding fathers of Harley Davidson. His grandfather and father are founding, and everyone was standing in line to get his signature, and I was airbrushing away, and next thing I know, Willie G's standing behind me. I thought, can I get you to sign something? So he signed the gas tank for me, Willie G. I thought it was nice of him to stand in line so he could sign something for me. So this tank, this was off my panhead. I made the base, and I made it out of only like thin steel, and I had it mounted through hidden mounts in the frame, and the weight of the tank cracked around the mount, so I made another tank for it. It's now the whole bike is now in a collection of bikes. I'm glad it's getting looked after. But I think this will be a good one to just get a bit of an idea of. So I think it's too long. I think we'll make it a little shorter. I'd like to get this angle here on the front of the tank. Same angle. So that angle will be proud. So this here will probably have to come back from there, I'm saying about an inch. So I'll get behind, you can get a bit of an idea of how it's going to look with that tank on and see what you think. That's the standard tank. Sits very, very low. Hides, a lot of the engine sits up in this cavity, so it hides a lot of the engine. So we've got that option, or I'd really like to make a tank for this. I think, yeah, like this shows off the whole top of the engine. You have it all polished. I really like that. I really like that look. I've done a lot of bikes like that, so I want to make the bike look tall and skinny, so that tank will help it, you know, give it a lot of height. So I think the next coming episodes, I'll show you how I go about making a tank. We'll do that. I'll make a fender. I'm pretty happy with the look of that overall. And we've still got a cavity. We've still got a big hole here for an oil tank. This is an oil tank I ran for a long time. Just mounts up like that. It's got a spin-off filter on this side, a Harley-Davidson spin-off filter. But then I've also made these style oil tanks for a lot of bikes. So this is a like, looks like when it's on the bike, you'll notice it actually looks like a ball, but it's actually not. It's elongated, almost an egg shape, but it does look like a ball from that size. So I'd like to make another one of these, show you how I do on the Pullmax. This is made a pretty heavy gauge, maybe probably 2 mil. I don't know if I'll go that heavy, but it'll be interesting. And a lot of these parts, even if I don't use them on this bike, I'll use them eventually. So I think it'd be fun just to show you how I do it and see if you're interested. So this is the stock oil tank for a panhead, horseshoe, because it's the shape of a horseshoe. It sits in here, very neat to the frame. This one's got a few little dents and stuff, so I'll probably repair it as well, and that'll be another option we can run. The trouble with these is the batteries are only 6 volts, so you've only got a small hole in here. I'm going to look at what batteries they're making now, because they're making batteries all shapes and sizes, so maybe they make a good 12 volt that sits in there now. This will run 12 volt in the end. So there's 3 options for oil tank. I think just the fact I want to make that gas tank, we're going to go with that style gas tank. And a lot of people, a lot of people mention in the comments they're going to see me make a gas tank, so I'll make that. We're going to run some bars. A good friend of mine, Kurtzo from Burley Bars, has offered to make us a set of bars. I'm wrapped. Thanks, Kurtzo. Shout out to Burley Bars. Make some great products. I remember one time we were down at Bike Week, and I was so excited I'd invented this way of mounting handlebars to a Springer front end, and it was, I thought I'd come up with a world first. And I was talking to Kurtzo the first day of Bike Week, and he tells me they've made these similar mounts for Springer front end. I thought, how's that? We're both thinking the same thing at the same time, but yeah, they've got some great products. The bad thing I haven't told Kurtzo yet is I want to run an internal throttle on these bars, Kurtzo, and this is what you've got to start with, a rusty internal throttle. So I've been soaking it for a few days now. I'll get it working, I'll send it down to you. Thanks, mate. So this is great, so many comments and so many ideas coming along quite easily, and you know, it's great finding all these parts that I have got. Surprise me sometimes, and I like the input everyone's having. I don't know how far we'll get with it. Hopefully we get to a running bike. Most of the parts I've used here are panhead, so there's sort of nothing custom made now, so I'm looking forward to making a tank, fender, maybe an oil tank. We'll make the pipes, make an air cleaner. Transmission soon. Show you how we make the seat base, and we'll get it upholstered. So I've got a lot of parts to this bike. There's a lot I haven't got. So we're going to go down to a good friend of mine, Bomber at Kingpin Shoppers. We're going to go on a shopping spree of what we haven't got, and I think he's going to give us a big discount. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Step